Welcome to Friday Night Lights End Zone Overtime. I'm Scott Sabo along with Jack Leto. And as always, Jack, some tight games when you get to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, these teams really buck up, I think, on defense, and it kind of separates the cream from the crop.
Defense wins football this time of the year. It really does.
Exactly. When it gets cold, even though it's not all that cold now, in November, it's important to play good D, especially in those close games.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of the scores of some of the games we didn't get to in our actual show earlier tonight.
Yeah, a lot of Eastern Iowa teams taking some trips, and these are tough trips for a lot of teams.
3 hours to Van Meter for Anamosa.
How about Mac Valley over at St. Ansgar? These are tough, and you see from the scoreboard, not exactly the best day for Eastern Iowa, trying to break through the quarterfinals into the semifinals. In terms of a standout score, love to see Mount Vernon with
that's
a
a big win.
31-28 win. Got that in comeback fashion in the fourth quarter. Obviously a well-coached team.
Well coached, and they've been there, done that. So they know the playoffs, and that really helps this time of the year.
Very disciplined team, too. Shout out to Mac Valley, who I saw a couple times, Anamosa as well. These are great seasons, and I can specifically speak to Mac Valley, a very young team who I'm certain will be back. I could certainly say the same thing about Solon, which is just such a well-coached team. They have a program with a capital P. Any group of seniors who that get in there, they could make a run at the Dome.
Yeah, Anamosa senior dominated. This was a team that 2 years ago had won 1 game. They won 9 games this year, so that says a lot. I know it didn't end the way they wanted it to, but a tremendous season for Anamosa. All right, let's get to some of the crazy highlights from tonight. Dubuque Wahlert, so impressive all year long on both sides of the ball. They beat Independence tonight 24-7 at the Rock Bowl, and they beat a really good Indy team who beat the defending state champs. So impressive win. Wahlert can do it all.
Yeah, I saw Indy beat Williamsburg, and it looked like maybe that's a team of destiny with the Mustangs, with the way they were able to come back in the second half. Wahlert just kind of stepped on their throat. Wahlert beat this team earlier to stay undefeated, and as Chelsea always says throughout the week, it's hard. It's hard to beat a team twice, but that's exactly what Wahlert did. And I was saying before, they bucked up on defense. Only allowing 7 points this deep into the playoffs is extremely impressive. And this is a Wahlert team that'll fool you a little bit with the different quarterbacks they run. I really like Tom Scher, who we'll hear from in just a second or so, wide receiver who can run it like a running back.
They're physically tough is what they are. And this time of the year we talked about the defense and playing physical football, and that'll win you a lot of games when it comes playoff time, and it did again tonight. So hats off to Wahlert, man. They just keep winning. That's all they do is win.
That's all you got to do. And they're going to the Dome for the second time in the last 2 years. No state titles, though, in their history.
They'll have a good chance this year. Chelsea Brown was at this game, as we mentioned, covering it, and she has some post-game interview for us.
Perfect season is still intact, and you guys are headed to the Dome. What's your reaction to hearing that?
I mean, we've wanted to make it to the Dome for a while. Our sophomore team did it when we were all sophomores, all seniors, and we did it, and we're super stoked. We're ready to play in the Dome, so, I mean.
This defense only allowed 7 points, kept them off in the entire second half. What do you have to say about that performance?
Yeah, our defense is locked down. I mean, our defensive coach is he puts in a lot of work, and it shows on his calls. And he got us right in the off season. We were eating, lifting, and everything. And now we communicate better than anybody I know. So it's great.
And you had a quarterback switch up in a little bit of the game, but it seemed like things just were kind of seamless with whichever guy was in.
Yeah, I mean, they're both studs. They're both studs. They both work with the offense very well. I mean, they both know it through and through. And I wouldn't choose one or the other. I love them both to death. I mean, I go to hell and back with both of them.
Perfect season's still alive, and we are headed to the Dome. When you hear that, what's your reaction?
Oh, it's amazing. We've been working all season for this moment, all year. Everybody working hard on the off season every day.
It's hard to beat the same team twice, but you guys did that. How competitive did you know that this matchup was going to be?
All week I've been thinking about this matchup. I knew it'd be a tough game. They almost had us last week, but every game in the second half, it's our game. Every game.
Talking about that second half, the fact that the defense only allowed 7 points, none in the second half, what do you have to say about that side of the ball's performance?
We knew our defense had to lock it in. We knew they shouldn't have scored that first one. You know, we just got to wrap up. We just got to make the tackles, and we got to secure the outside. We got to secure the pass game.
Overall feelings to be heading to the Dome now. What are you feeling?
It's amazing. I've been working my whole life for this. I've been dreaming this moment. Everybody, all my family, everybody.
Dreams come true, making it to the Dome.
That's huge.
Yeah,
that's huge for those guys, and the job is not finished, I'm sure they're saying right now in the locker room.
Exactly. And the game you were at tonight, Liberty, they just keep winning too. And they do it with defense and offense. A little quarterback, Reese Reddick, is phenomenal, and he made some big plays again tonight.
Yeah, how about this call on 4th and goal from about the 4-yard line? Not exactly surprised that they made this call to go for it. A little surprised with kind of the handoff pitch action they had going. Hard to catch behind the referee, but Sutton Kohler, the running back, found his way into the end zone. Ankeny's a tough team. 6-5 coming in. 6-4 coming in and 6-5 after the loss. Obviously, those Central Iowa teams are a lot better than their records. At least if you talk to the IHSAA, they're kind of like the SEC of Iowa football, high school football. But Liberty really stomped on the gas pedal.
What a run there!
Great run by Reddick, fooling everybody. And this is a guy this is not your older brother's Liberty team. They're not passing all the time. They're a run-first team. But I think their play calling in the way they can pull you in and spread you out, it's one of the most impressive I've seen out of a 5A Eastern Iowa team. Reddick doesn't throw the ball a lot, but when he does, it's on the money. And 7, Colin Decker, the guy who caught it, has really come on late in the season. He's 6'3", 210. Yeah, if Reddick is 5'10", not really. Colin Decker is 6'3". He's going to be huge with those 50-50 balls when we get to the unit.
They're not lying about how big their coach is, Scott Chandler. He is actually 6'8", 6'9". But talk a little bit about the job and his staff have done in such a short period of time.
Yeah, he takes over. He was the offensive coordinator the last couple of years. It's still so impressive to be able to do this in your first season in a big school. It's not. I think there's a difference. There's a difference between the big schools and the small schools. And he got this buy-in from a large group of juniors and seniors who maybe weren't used to his coaching style. But I really like what he's done. He's emphasized the running game and the defense. It's taken a little while, but the defense has really caught up to the offense. Only giving up 13 points to Ankeny is extremely impressive. There's Division I and II guys all up and down that Ankeny offense. I think as great as the offense is for Liberty, and we caught a lot of highlights, I think the improvement of the defense has been huge. And if Liberty can play the game they played again, do that in the Dome, they could be dangerous.
And Chandler has a great coaching staff with them. The game I was at tonight, Madrid at Lisbon in the A quarterfinals. Lisbon undefeated on the year, and they got off to a decent start. Tiernan Boots, he is tough to bring down. He just scoots the little guy, gets outside, and all of a sudden he gets a steam going, and he is a lot quicker than he looks, and he can really move. And he set them up for their first touchdown. They give it to the quarterback this time, and he scores. That tied the game at 7, but I'm telling you, Madrid had a quarterback that was like Houdini tonight. Preston Wicker. And they had a hard time tackling Preston, as most teams would. Look at this play right here. Where is he? Well, he's in the end zone. He did that all night long, and this game went back and forth. They had some momentum going here in the third quarter. The fake punt got them the first down, and this might be the biggest play of the game right here. The high snap, they fumbled it, and there's that guy Wicker again with the return, and that kind of did them in. They lose 27-14, but once again, a tremendous season by Lisbon. They were 10-0 coming into this game. They've had 2 great seasons in a row.
Yeah, how about that quarterback-running back combo with Dakota Clark and Tiernan Boots, 2 seniors. Boots wrestles, so we'll see him again, I'm sure, in Des Moines. Clark, great baseball player. They've had a great 4 years, the 2 of them, the entire senior class, obviously, at Lisbon. But like you mentioned, those margins in the playoffs this deep are razor thin. One poor snap can get you. And this Madrid team is really talented. Yeah,
that was tough tonight. Tough loss for Lisbon, but a great season. Another game tonight, another tough loss. Regina loses to Wilton 21-14. This is a team that they beat earlier in the year, but Wilton really came to play tonight. It wasn't that Regina did not play well. It was just Wilton played really well in this game.
Yeah, I think as far as the season goes for Regina, I don't know if it's the best coaching job, but it's got to be close. This is a Regina team that lost its best wide receiver, lost its quarterback, lost its head coach, and they finished the year 9-2. That's really impressive. And they were hanging with Wilton, a team that is obviously by nature of the win, a team that is going to the Unidome and has a good chance to win a state title in Class 1A. And to be able to be within 1 touchdown of that team is really impressive. I could say the same thing about the Lisbon fans. You saw it. These Regina
Yeah.
fans have been on fire all year long. They did not lose. They haven't lost any of the luster of the energy that they've had, even though Regina hasn't had the same level of success it did under Merv Cook. I find it really impressive that those fans are coming out every single night.
It's impressive that Regina can maintain this year after year
Yeah.
after year. They're good. They're always in the playoffs, and they're always fighting for a chance to get to the Dome, and they did again this year.
Some of those teams in Eastern Iowa, they're just programs with a capital P. They have the guys coming up in middle school, even elementary school, and you have guys that, they were once those little kids.
They wanna be
in the
them,
stands. They see that, they look
Yeah.
up, they say, I want to be
Yeah.
you one day, but
Yep.
go even farther than you into the Unidome.
Yeah, that means a lot. All right, we got some matchups, right, to look at?
We do.
Unidome
yeah.
matchups.
Next week at the Unidome should be good. If any matchup stands out to you, Scott, I figure for you it would be Mount Vernon Humboldt. That's the Saturday at 7 o'clock game.
Oh, that'll
so
be
that
a
Mount
terrific
Vernon
football game. Humboldt's a
student
really,
section.
really good football team, as we saw tonight. Mount Vernon, they've been there, they've done that, they've been in the Dome so many times that I expect them to have a really good chance to win this game.
I do too. Southeast Polk and Liberty, that's going to be a great one. The Des Moines stations and the Eastern Iowa stations are going to be butting heads on the sidelines of the Unidome. This is a Southeast Polk team that is not the same as it's been the last 3 years. Now, you have to remember, the Rams, they're a program. They bring in guys every single year, and yes, they don't have the same caliber of talent, perhaps, as they've had the last 3 years.
I
but
like
you're the
Liberty's chances
three-time
in this
defending
game.
state
I
champs
know
for a
they have,
reason.
but I really like Liberty in this game because they're playing so good on defensive side of the ball and then on offense. And then that little quarterback, Reese Reddick, on turf,
Yeah.
he's going to really
out.
he's going to be
He'll-
really tough to stop. And I just think they're so focused. When I went and did the interview with Reese a couple of weeks ago, he said, hey, man, we're not in these playoffs and happy to be here. We're in it to win it, and that's what we're after. And just the confidence that they have right now, that I like them in this game.
Yeah, that's the mindset change that a lot of these Eastern Iowa schools have had and want to have. Football, boys basketball too, baseball. We're not just here to compete with Central Iowa teams, we're here to beat them. And I think Liberty doesn't think they're done. Liberty thinks they could win it
Yeah,
all, and
they
I
do.
100% agree with them. The other matchup that was interesting, Wahlert, Sergeant Buff Luton. Hard to believe neither of those teams have won a state title. I think Wahlert has as good of a chance as they've ever had, maybe winning that game and meeting Mount Vernon. in
Yeah,
the
once
3A
again,
titles.
I'll go back to
title.
defense. And the
Yeah.
defense that they're playing right now, they have a good chance to get to the championship game. All right, we're going to be in the Dome next week. We won't have a Friday show like this one, but we will have coverage Friday and all week long. Thanks for joining us.